everybody. Welcome to Build Brunch, the daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in pop culture. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Sama Dada.
And I'm Lucas Tim. Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Today we're going to talk about why Lin-Manuel Miranda is turning to his Twitter followers for help, Pete Buttigieg and the bringing the millennial voice to the presidential election, and why traveling alone does not make you sad or lonely. Plus, baker extraordinaire Amira Kasim joins the table to discuss the flower shop and her new book. But first,
guys, it turns out that Ryan Seacrest is human after all. The TV host made American Idol history recently when he called out sick, marking his first day off in 17 seasons of the competition show. Seacrest passed the mic to radio host Bobby Bones for the night. First of all, I love that name, Bobby Bones. Doesn't he sound like a biker?
I know, I didn't know who Bobby Bones was until I heard about this story. And so I'm glad that we got to meet him.
Yes.
I really wish that they had chosen someone who didn't look exactly like Ryan Seacrest. I was like, this was what we call an opportunity to branch out. Maybe introduce us to a new diverse person. But they were like, let's put another white guy.
He was different. He was wearing glasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And his hair's a little bit darker and spiked in a different way.
At a different
So in a white guy's scale, that is like almost going.
I think Bobby uses a pomade.
Yeah.
Ryan uses a gel.
Yeah.
It's just like a slight.
I
It's
apologize.
inclusive.
Yeah.
It's inclusive.
I was being insensitive.
Yeah, of course.
Bobby Bones is such a unique man.
He's a unicorn. But what do you guys think about, I mean, if you think about it, Ryan Seacrest is the hardest working guy in media. I mean, he's got radio shows and TV shows. He's executive producing things. He honestly never does take a day off, so he's earned it, probably.
Yeah, I wonder what was happening to him. Like,
What is his vitamin regimen, first of all?
Yeah.
How is he not taking a day off in 17 seasons?
He probably gets one of those packs that you can order that have your name on it, those like personalized vitamins.
Yeah.
yeah.
Always see those, and
Totally.
I'm like, I'm not good enough for those.
I'm surprised he's not selling those on Instagram, like the Kardashians. He should be like, these
it
vitamins keep me alive.
Yeah.
Literally.
But if anyone was a Westworld robot, it could be Ryan Seacrest.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It would make sense. Like, that would check out. Like, after season 1 of American Idol, he just got replaced by his robot version. It's just been that robot forever.
He's definitely a lizard person, 100% a lizard person, which I'm a fan of some lizard people, like Justin Bieber is my favorite lizard person.
Wait, what does a lizard person mean?
They're, like they like rule the earth secretly. They're the most powerful people. They're lizards who are taking the form of humans, but they're like Illuminati kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see them sometimes. You're on board with
Yeah, I see that. I
could
could see that. I could see that.
I've never missed an episode of Build Brunch.
This is true. Lucas
I
has
do,
never.
but that
Oh,
is
wow, they don't care.
Wow,
They
you guys are really supportive. Yes, it is because out of fear that if I leave, they will replace me and I'll be fired. But I am never leaving this chair. You hear me?
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I had perfect attendance through kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, and I didn't even get a certificate. You know what?
Really?
And people who missed like whole 6-ass months of school still got the same diploma I did. So my
does not
dad
matter.
tricked me. It doesn't matter.
I know, I'm the same way. I was like the goody two shoes, like every day I was there.
Yeah.
Like I was in my seat, I was well, maybe not raising my hand, but anyways, I was there. But like, what do we have to show for
Yeah.
it?
It's your
Nothing.
own personal
I
fulfillment
guess,
that you showed up.
I guess.
You
did
showed
it.
up. You were there.
That's true.
But go ahead.
I think it'd be nice if Lucas didn't show up for the show one day, and then, we could be like, we can miss him a little bit. Like, he plays hard to get. We'll be like, if you put someone else in that chair, we're gonna really miss what you bring to the table.
You make it too easy.
That's true, but what if they're better than me?
Well, that's a risk we all have to take.
You guys have. I live in fear.
Yeah, but honestly, most Americans do. I read stats all the time about how Americans don't actually first of all, 45% of Americans don't have sick days, so that's a problem. But a lot of people are afraid that they're gonna get fired or replaced, or the project they're working on is gonna get handed off to somebody else. I mean, that's a real fear.
I mean, when I was an assistant in LA, being sick was just an inconvenience. Like you would fall back behind on so much work, and you'd have to have someone temp for you, and you'd be texting them, and they'd be like, does your boss like the tea like this? And you're like, oh, I just wish I was there to get the tea or whatever. So it's such an inconvenience sometimes that I understand why people just go to work sick.
I have never used a sick day. I've used vacation days a lot, but I've never actually called in sick. I grew up with a mom who, and I think the baby boomer generation was just really different. Like my mom never in 32 years called in sick.
Wow.
So that was just like the model she set. So I've actually never used a sick day. I just come to work and infect everybody.
Yeah. We appreciate you for that.
And people apparently don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like sharing is caring, but not when it comes to germs and sickness.
I have to be so ill before I call in sick.
Yeah.
Which is like maybe a problem because we should be allowed to be like have a cold and not infect other people.
Or
I
like a
guess,
mental
right?
health
And
day.
feel
You
okay
should be able to
about
take
it.
a mental health
But
day.
especially
Yeah,
for you, because
especially.
you're an incredible chef and baker, that I would think if you were sick, you would just be like spewing it. I gotta get this cake out.
Exactly. It's so different too. That's why like I'm not gonna contaminate anyone.
Right.
No, no,
Those
no.
are like health code violations.
Yes,
It's a whole different
exactly.
animal.
A full different beast for sure.
Well, ham for ham. Well, Lin-Manuel Miranda has asked his Twitter followers to help brainstorm name ideas for a Hamilton-inspired cafe that's going to be located inside an upcoming exhibit for the musical. Social media users enjoy tweeting out their Hamilton-themed puns, such as Aaron Brew, sir, and don't throw away your espresso shot. This is funny. My favorite one was just call it Ann Peggy.
Yes, that was my favorite
one.
And Peggy.
Because that girl needs some recognition for something.
But I think she is the most notable person from the musical other than Alexander.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves the Ann Peggy. I've seen hats with it.
Right.
So why not name a cafe that?
Because we're all secretly, we want to be Eliza or Angelica, but we're Peggy.
Yeah,
And
we're
then you're
all-
most likely a Peggy.
We're
let's
all
be honest.
Peggy. I think my second favorite one was Barista.
Agreed. 100%.
I like that.
Or everyone in the cafe has to be called baristas.
Yeah.
Baristas.
Barista.
Yeah.
Or Satisfied, which is my favorite Hamilton song.
Oh, the best.
I have it memorized. I'll rap it for you later.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Later.
I can
Right
lip sync
now.
it.
I can rap it as fast as Angelica, and I don't drop a line. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So that would be if I could name a Hamilton cafe.
I love that you said that because no one says Satisfied.
It's the best
It's the
song.
best one. It's the best one.
I'm not even gonna try to sing it right
I
now,
know.
but just know that it's in my heart.
Break it up.
Have you guys ever been to any of these themed cafes though? I know, and they're really big in like Japan. There's like an owl cafe and a rabbit cafe and a cat cafe where you can just basically go drink coffee and touch animals.
I've been to a dog cafe and I've been to a cat cafe. And you know, I'm a huge animal lover, but you really have to keep up a space. If there's gonna be like 30 animals, you have to like keep it clean. You have to have a window situation. And there have been times when literally I walked into a cat cafe and it smells like, you know, very territorial.
Ooh.
Yum.
What?
Real life cat.
So were the vibes different, dog, cat, like that you would expect they would be?
Yeah, well, thankfully the dogs were calmer than I expected, but I thought the dogs were gonna be like jumping up
Yeah.
and knocking over lattes. I'm like, I don't fuck with that. You know, don't knock over my latte at all. But the cats were my favorite because they were all like really sleepy cats.
Aw.
That seems like a way more zen atmosphere. I feel like if I'm going to a cafe, like I'm trying to get some work done, I'd be so distracted by like all the puppies sitting
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah, there were no laptops.
Right.
Oh,
that's what I
really?
was-
So it's
okay,
just,
so
you're
like,
there for
socialize.
the animals.
Yeah, you actually
that makes
like.
sense.
There's one in LA you usually have to pay, and you usually have to make a reservation. Like they're so popular, you can't just walk in. Like I remember the first time my friend wanted to go to one, we tried to walk in, and they were at the door, and they're like, "Do you have a reservation?" I was like, "It's a cafe where you have like stray cats, chill." And they were like, "We're booked out all summer," and I was like, "Okay." And
Gross.
Wow.
Wow.
I have cats at
impressive
home,
for them.
so like
Yeah,
my life is
honestly.
a cat cafe.
But
That's not really my vibe. Are you guys loyal to do you have like a space in your neighborhood, like a cafe? I have finally in my life, I have my Cheers moment. But I go to Harlem Coffee like 3 days a week and I walk in and they're like, "Hey, Miss Jones." They call me Miss Jones.
Aw.
And they like
That's
know my
sweet.
coffee and it feels like very warm. But they don't have any cats. They just have like local art on the walls and for me that's enough. Like I don't need animals.
that's cool. Yeah, I don't have any sort of loyalty cafe. I'm weird.
That's not weird.
I mean, I don't go to cafes enough. I want that life. I wish I had that life.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could pull out my laptop and start writing my script in a cafe and put on my glasses, which Shannon says I should start wearing now because I look good
Oh,
in
you
them.
look so hot in
yeah.
those
I
glasses.
discovered, guys, I look good in glasses.
Oh my God.
I discovered I'm a hotter nerd than I am with not.
You're
I
such a-
posted to my
Yes.
Instagram the love I got from just wearing glasses changed my life.
Well, you were like
Yeah.
shirtless and what you
Yeah, I was a thought in it as well, but I
Couple
was a
factors
nerdy
in play.
thought, and wow, the love I got.
It looked good.
It was really
we
good.
had
Yeah.
we had
We
conversation.
talked about it. Then I like privately texted you about it, which I was like, "Am I hitting on Lucas? This is weird." But it's so good. Go to his Instagram and check it out.
See it?
I'm gonna do that.
Make sure you're alone in case you get inspired.
Would you guys have a theme for a cafe?
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Oh God. It would be like a diva cafe.
Good one.
Divas.
Oh yay!
I'd call it divas.
Yeah.
And it'd be like Diana Ross and
Oh, that's
Mariah and Whitney, like music art. There's wigs available if you feel inspired.
I love that. There should be a Mariah section where it's just a bed where you can sleep for 15 hours straight, and there's 20 humidifiers, because apparently she uses 20 humidifiers.
And there's the Diana section where there's just rain pouring down, and you can act like you're in Central Park singing while you get your coffee.
Madonna section, you have shirtless guys serving you your food and just holding you up.
In like leather.
Leather, yeah, that's good.
Amazing.
What would you do? I feel like that's something you might actually do, because that's like your ballpark.
Because you're like talented.
I feel like, well, thank you.
We're not talented, so we can
You guys are very talented, first of all. Let's get it clear.
you.
I think it'd be cool to do like an ingredient cafe. Like maybe everything has to have like avocado in it. Haven't figured out how that would work with like a cafe latte, because like that might be disgusting. But I mean, I don't know. That could be kind of interesting.
I'm intrigued.
I like the way your
Or,
brain
like,
works.
I don't know. I haven't really fully thought it through, but that just came to mind.
Well,
If
don't
that
they
was your
some-
first thought, then that's really good.
Yeah, that's really smart. I was gonna be like, I'm gonna open up a butt cafe. There's butts everywhere, and I was like, I don't know, pull out.
Mine was Real Housewives, and everything has alcohol in it. Just like it's a cafe.
So it's a bar?
Yeah, it's a bar. Yeah, it's a sky. I went to this local cafe. I always leave really drunk. That's my idea.
I can't wait. I'll come.
Thank you.
Well, the 2020 presidential race is seeing the most diverse slate of Democrats looking to take office. One hopeful making headlines is candidate Pete Buttigieg, who is emerging from underdog status as he begins to build momentum with young voters. Take a look.
You know, in many ways, I think being from a younger generation, it's one of the main reasons to do this. You know, I belong to the school shooting generation. I was in high school when Columbine happened. We're the generation that provided most of the troops for the conflicts after 9/11. We're the generation that's going to be on the business end of climate change. And if nothing changes economically, we'll be the first generation ever to make less than our parents. So I believe that no one has more at stake right now than younger people coming up. And I think a lot about the way the world's going to look in 2054, when I reach the current age of the current president. Why not have somebody in there who actually views the condition of the country in that year as a personal issue, not somebody else's problem?
I'll take that.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's such a great possible person because he's living it. Like he's, you know, there's a lot of progressive people who are like, these are my beliefs, but I feel like, you know, he's like a musician, he's married to a teacher, like he learned 1 million languages. These are all things
He's
that
a vet.
I just really appreciate that it's all from real life experience.
Yeah, he's very authentic and so intelligent, and it's such a pleasant surprise that he's now the underdog to watch. I think everyone was assuming that Beto would be, but in terms of on the white man scale, Pete Buttigieg brings such a new perspective, being that he's an openly gay man and was when he was elected to mayor of South Indiana, he was the youngest mayor ever, and he does like, you know, it's everything from just like that he met his husband on an app, to just the way him and his husband use social media. I think it's been really refreshing for us to have a candidate like this.
Yeah, I'm excited. The field right now is so deep, so it's hard for me to get like too excited about one candidate. I'm somebody who will lock back in when the debates start happening. We get to see all these people go head to head. But it is exciting to see somebody who it just seems like he has all these different layers. And so he is still a white guy, but he's I think there's more entry points for me that I'm like interested in hearing his perspectives. Although, you know, he's not perfect. He did have this plan in his hometown of demolishing 1,000 homes in 1,000 days. Those happen to be in communities of color. And so he's sort of more data-driven instead of emotionally driven. And those communities have had to rebound, and there's actually a woman named Regina Williams-Preston who's running for his office because she was a black woman who had investment properties in those communities that she lost money on. So again, nobody's perfect. I just want to point out, we're really excited, but I think I need somebody who's looking very holistically, and like those are the issues that are important.
Well, I think it's a clear, I mean, I don't even say a blind spot, but I think what shortcoming is his advocacy for people of color, just because he's really great at speaking to working class white people, because where he's predominantly where he's mayor from, but also as, you know, as a feminist, and I love Pete. I have to say though, it kind of shows, you know, men get promoted off of like prospect and their potential. Women get promoted when they've spent 25 years working their ass off. And I think it's funny when Senator Kamala Harris announced she's to be president, people go, I don't know if she's ready. She's only been a senator for a few years. She was the attorney general to the most populous state in the country. And I say, you know, Hillary Clinton, was she ready? Girl, she's been working for 55 years. She was like, I mean, it's like women, like what more do women have to do? And it's interesting that the first millennial candidate is a man. And I think that kind of points to like how we still view women, that women have to do so much to even be considered potentially viable.
But he's a mayor of a city that has 100,000 people.
Right.
He ran for DNC chairman, didn't win. I mean, his political background is not really that impressive. We like him as a person, but I don't know what his chops are. I don't know what his plans are. Has he announced any, like what are his real beliefs?
Right.
I've yet to see that, but I'm excited that we have these diverse candidates and that it's gonna be entertaining maybe to see how they all go up against each other, but that could also be to our detriment.
I'm so glad he made it to the debates, and I mean, having a gay man run for president is so inspiring to me, to millions of people around this country.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about him though is that he has a future. So even if it's not this cycle, obviously in the future he's going to be, I think, one of the strongest members of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, Bobby Bones is also running.
Makes sense, Bobby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's like, you know what we need? Another me.
You know, because we don't have enough politicians with glasses.
We don't enough. We had like 5 white guys announced yesterday they're running. But do you guys think that millennials are a voting bloc the way that they often put people of color, women of color, or Latinos, Latinas? Like, do you think we vote that way? Because I don't think we are.
No.
No.
I think a lot of millennials aren't informed.
Right.
I think we vote because we like people, which is a lot of Americans do. But I don't know, I feel like when I get in political conversations with friends, there's not like people have research and they're well-read. It's more of like a instinct.
Right.
Instead of like looking at the platforms and things that really affect their lives.
And also, a lot of us really still like Senator Bernie Sanders. I mean, he has a big demographic as millennial. So I'm just interested to see, like, you know, if we all, you know, people always talk about the millennial voting bloc is the most, like, untapped voting bloc in this country, that we could change this country if we all teamed together and voted, you know, even if the candidate, let's just say, had some email problems. You know, we just stuck it out and voted for her. Things could be different. But, you know, so I'm always interested, like, could Pete be that person to get, like, all the millennials together? I don't know.
Comes down to the issues too as well, right? I feel like we prioritize so many different things now. Like one thing, I feel like transparency and authenticity is so important. That kind of bleeds into like our lives on social media too, right? Like you see like a public figure or somebody say something that's so raw and vulnerable and we celebrate that. I feel like we kind of want the same thing in our policymakers and our lawmakers as well, right?
That's true.
Going forward.
And to both of those points, 50% of millennials identify as independent.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not really reassuring for him or anybody running because it's really gonna come down to how they feel instead of
But a big population he's tapping into is the LGBTQ community. He made this speech that was really incredible where he spoke about like, if he could have taken a pill that would have made him straight, he would have taken it. And then at the end of the speech, basically says like, "I'm so glad I never had that pill."
Yeah.
And it's it's inspiring. But you know, he's been getting a lot of money from LGBTQ people. He's raised like $7 million in 2 months, which is incredible. So I think that is historic, and possibly that community will rally behind him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a civil rights issue that has been neglected by a lot of politicians. So if he can shed some light, I think that's amazing.
And speaking of it, you know, our girl T Swift, and we ragged on her. She really was out of the political fray, but she's in it now. She donated like over $100,000 to an LGBTQ advocacy group in Tennessee. So I really like that she's like really trying to improve her home state. Like that's like, she really feels like that's like, it's important to her to advocate for minorities in her home state.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. T Swift, we love you.
That's a no.
Okay. A new Marie Claire story discusses how traveling alone does not make you lonely or sad, but rather the opposite. Traveling by yourself can help you to explore new places and learn about other cultures in a way you may have never experienced before.
Where is that map going? In that photo? Where is she trying to get? That's an ocean.
The Atlantis, underneath the waters of Secret
She's like,
City.
Aquaman?
Or the lizard people.
Yeah, the lizard people, they do have some underground water places where they meet and take some of their rituals to keep, you know, us locked up in the invisible chains that we live in.
I'm obsessed with this. I love it.
I love how much you know about lizard people.
Oh, you guys, they're so real. 100%. I believe lizard people are real. They're, you know, I want to be on their good side, so just so you guys know, like, I'm scaly too.
Awesome. I have eczema. Does that count?
Yes. Yes.
I'll take it. But this thing about traveling alone, have you guys ever taken a trip by yourselves?
Yeah. I mean, after college, actually, I traveled by myself for a month in Europe. And listen, I feel like, I feel like there's this stigma, right? Like, if I'm eating my pasta alone at a restaurant, people are like, she's sad, she's lonely, like we need to help her. But honestly, I think it was a gorgeous thing to not share my pasta with anyone else.
Exactly.
Like I love that. And also, I mean, it's so unique and it's so transformative to really be the person dictating everything that you want to do on this trip, right? It's like, I don't need to wait for anyone to leave the house in the morning or apartment, hotel, whatever it is.
I love it.
Where did you go for a month?
I went to Amsterdam, Bordeaux, Berlin, London, Paris. I kind of bopped around. And which was nice for me too, I had like friends in like 2 of the places, so I was able to like meet up with people. But for the most part, kind of figuring out where I wanted to go and what I wanted to see. And I don't know how my parents let me do that, to be completely honest. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Because you just did it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
they
did
didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I was a travel reporter at Yahoo Travel for 2 years, and so I would go on all these press trips. I would travel once a month, but then I would always tack on 3 days by myself wherever I was. So I've traveled by myself pretty extensively, and I think it has been one of the most empowering things I've ever done, because you're still afraid, you're still nervous, you're still anxious. Like, all of those feelings are real, and you feel lonely sometimes, but those are good things to work through and start to reconcile, like, why am I lonely? Why do I feel like I need somebody here? Why can't I just be content? I'm in a museum. Why can't I just enjoy the art? Why do I need somebody here? And for me, I felt like a different person after those 2 years of traveling alone. Like, I felt like I knew myself better, and I felt like I could honestly take on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. I've never traveled alone, and I really feel like I would love it, because I personally don't really get that lonely. Like, I spend a lot of time by myself.
Right.
I don't mind eating by myself. I don't think being alone is sad. I hate when people just assume that you're sad because you're alone eating your pasta. I'd be like, she's living up her best life.
And
Seriously.
I honestly was, so thank you.
Yeah, and I can visualize that, and I know it's true. But I come from like a background where, like, you know, me and my mom watched a lot of Lifetime movies, and like we just have a sad story jukebox going. So like even like, okay, I was thinking about doing a solo trip, and then I had to like end up reading this article about this couple who just got like magically like disappeared in the Dominican Republic, and then my friend who went someplace else she went with her friend. They ended up one of them got roofied, and the only reason why she was okay was because she had her friend spotting her.
Wow.
So I just hear so many horror stories that I think it's like, I'm not afraid of being alone or being like perceived as sad. I'm afraid of like, you know, all the potential bad things can happen. But you know what? I could die right now from a heart attack. So what am I doing?
I mean, I think those are things, especially as a woman, you have to be really careful about. And there are a lot of great articles that write about the countries that are safe for solo travelers, specifically women. So like Vienna, for instance, is very walkable, and it's really, you know, it's really safe, and there's lots, they speak English. And so you have to find the place that's right for you. I did spend like 3 days alone in Tokyo. That was an experience. Nobody speaks English. I was by myself a lot. There were definitely moments where I was like, but you're almost hyper alert, and you don't put yourself in situations that feel dangerous also, you know?
That's good. Because here in New York, I barely walk outside in the dark. I'm like, the sun is gone. I must hide.
No, I mean, I never traveled alone, and honestly, like, when I remember going to NYU, learning how to eat alone was a big thing for me, which now I'm able to do. But so that, I think, would be a step I'll take once in my life, hopefully soon. But I think, you know, President Obama just said he will stress the importance of young people traveling abroad. In general. And I was just talking about this with friends the other day, because I feel like what happens with us as Americans, we get disconnected with the outside world and the familiarities, the things that we all have in common, and why it's important for our government or for us individually to support people outside of America. And I think a big thing when you learn is when you go abroad and you see, oh, we're very similar. Like, it just, and I think it will open our eyes and our perspectives to what diplomacy can do and what we can do as a community of Earth. Yeah. So I love that.
I'm with you. The conversations that you have when you're traveling internationally are the best part. It's not all of the like sightseeing. It's when you meet somebody at a bar and they talk about their life and you're like, oh, we are actually really similar. Those are always the things I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, when I went to Ethiopia, it was incredible talking to people about what their views of America and their politics and whatever, and it's really eye-opening and very different to what I thought they would think, you know? So, changed my life.
Travel more.
Travel more, baby. And now it's time for today's guest. Amira Kasem is the exploding cake baker behind the Flower Shop Bakery in Soho, and now she's adding author to her resume with the release of her new book, The Power of Sprinkles. Everyone, please give a warm Build Brunch welcome to Amira Kasem.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you. I see
like
you're in like rainbows. We're like rainbow girls.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, so we're so excited to have you. This book is gorgeous.
Thank you.
The Power of Sprinkles. Please tell us like the inspiration behind it.
So, as you know, we make so many, you know, of the explosion rainbow cakes at Flower Shop every day, and I started seeing people posting on Instagram their homemade versions and like the fails, which are obviously hilarious and amazing, and just, you know, people asking for tips and tricks and like, how did you get this in there and how did you get that? So I thought to myself, I want everyone to make it at home. Like, I love seeing everyone baking together and spreading joy with each other. So I wanted to create a little recipe book that also taught you how to make all of their signature cakes.
I love that. Was there a moment of fear where you were like, maybe I shouldn't give away all my sprinkle secrets?
Listen, it's a little harder than it looks. I want you to try it. No, you know, I don't think that way because you can obviously start with any recipe you want. If you have a cake that you like, or, you know, start with a box mix if you just want to like have fun with it. To me, it's more about having fun with the process of baking than it is getting this one secret recipe, and I encourage everyone to bake it.
I love that. And you have over 29 different types of cakes in the book. So how did you choose which ones you wanted to put in, and was there one that you kept to yourself?
No, you know, that was really hard. I made this big list, and I was thinking, you know, the unicorn has to make it, the burger has to make it, like the pizza has to make it, and then by the end of it, I was like, okay, then we're at book 2 now. We need to like cut it back. So I did my favorite ones, and so it's the whole food series, and you know, all the unicorn magic and all of that. And I just think it's fun, you know, if you have this one recipe that you're really good at, I feel like you feel confident to bake it into any different situation, whether it's like 4th of July, your friend's birthday, the Super Bowl, just switch up the colors and you have a new cake.
Speaking of like all these different occasions, you are the baker behind Flower Shop in Soho, which is amazing. And honestly, like as a food Instagrammer myself, like the most Instagrammable cake I've ever seen. Can you just tell us like how that whole thing came about?
So it's really funny because I actually started on Instagram. I was like, I didn't have money to pay for like a website or the store. I mean, it's crazy, right? New York. And so I started on Instagram and I was just making everything that made me happy. And one day I started drawing for my inspiration in Mexico and like making it into a piñata, right? And doing all these different candies that I put on it was kind of a fail. The candies weren't falling out. I had like lollipops in there. And once we did it with the sprinkles, it became this sort of Instagram viral, my last cake just went viral moment for me that I'm like really into, obviously. And it just happened organically, and then now it's so amazing to go to a restaurant in New York City and just see like 15 people gathered around that cake waiting for that moment. I'm really proud of that cake.
Can you just walk us through like a typical day in your life? Like it just sounds so amazing and exciting and colorful also.
So I wake up and brush my teeth with frosting. No, just kidding. A little Willy Wonka world. Yeah. I definitely wake up, the first thing I do though is like blast music in my apartment. Sorry to my husband. Ariana Grande, I love you. And I think that really sets you up for the whole day, right? Like your energy, your vibe. And I like to call it birthday lifestyle is my lifestyle. Aww. So I think when you wake up, you play your favorite music, you wear your favorite clothes. For me, it's rainbows and glitter. And that sets you up for sort of like the happiest day ever. Because if on your birthday, you create that, right? Like you choose your favorite foods, you choose where you're gonna have dinner. And if you can do that on your birthday, you can do that every single day. So just live that birthday life.
So is your birthday just like extreme? Like do you like go wake up in a cake? Like your birthday just like, whoa!
Oh, everybody knows. I like prep the whole week before. I'm like, my birthday is coming. I think I prepped more for my birthday than like the book.
And your fashion is obviously amazing. And so you started out in fashion. So how did that then turn into cakes?
You know, I always grew up baking with my mom. In Mexico, it was like the most fun thing for me. It was like, what are we gonna do next? I think my mom was Pinterest before Pinterest moms. And so we were always making things for people and never thought about it as a career, right? Like loved fashion, the colors, the patterns, the textures, everything about it. Moved to LA, was, you know, studied at FITM, which was really awesome. Then moved to New York, I wanted to work in high-end fashion. But what I noticed is every time I was starting a job or, you know, doing something new, I was baking a cake for someone at work, everybody was like blown away by the cake, and I thought to myself, maybe that's what I should do. I want to wake up and play with sprinkles. Yeah. So it was this amazing transition where I still get to bake and work with the fashion industry, but now I play literally with sprinkles every morning.
Was that scary for you? Because I think that's so inspiring to actually follow that passion, but were there any moments of hesitation?
Oh, of course, it was the scariest thing. You know, you go from getting this like reoccurring paycheck where you know where everything's coming from to I'm gonna branch out and do something and I hope that someone likes it. And thank goodness, the power of sprinkles and Flower Shop is something that, you know, was such a big passion that people caught on to it, right? And I think that if you believe in what you're doing so much and you work at it literally 24/7, because the first 6 years, you know, Flower Shop's been open for 1.5 years now, and everybody's like, wow, this success in this 1 year, and it is really crazy and incredible, but there was another 6 years before that where I was just working at it like every day, and so I think if you follow that passion and you truly believe it, like if you can dream it, you can do it.
Such good advice.
The first time I had this wonderful rainbow cake was for my brother's 21st birthday, which was in July, and I was tasked with having to pick it up. So it was a hot July day. I go all the way to the flower shop. I pick up. I had to carry that cake all the way uptown, and I was sweating. I was like, oh, this cake better be good.
And it's heavy. It's heavy.
It was the big one. Let me tell you, eating that cake that night was the greatest experience of my life. So it was worth the blood, sweat, and tears to get it to the birthday party.
I can vouch based on his Insta stories how excited he was.
Oh my God, it was crazy. But also something exciting, you have a whimsical bakeware line with Williams-Sonoma coming out in May, right?
Yes, I am freaking out about it. It's the cutest thing. And you know, I feel like these brighten up your Instagram, which is totally awesome, but then getting to brighten up your home, right? Like your kitchen, what you're baking with, and how you set the table. I love a good Sunday supper with my friends. And setting the table with like rainbow plates and baking with rainbow bowls is just really gonna, I mean, I'll show you some.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
We have these little guys.
So cute.
Here, we can share them. We can
Yeah.
have some cake.
I love this so much.
So these are like little dessert plates that we have, and they're like,
I want these.
I like fangirl over my own plates. Is that okay?
You totally are allowed to do that.
Yeah, Kara the unicorn is probably my favorite. You know,
So
she's
cute.
inspired by the cake.
Yeah. Yes, I got the beautiful rainbow one. So
Of course. And you
you're-
know your sunshine over here.
You have an incredible personality. What's next for you? Do you want to host a show? Do you want to just be like more active on social media? Like what's next? What do you want to do?
I want to take over the world with sprinkles and rainbows.
I think that will heal the
Let's go
world.
paint the
We've
world.
been trying to get Lucas to leave, so you can take
Yes,
this
we're taking
spot.
this
Yeah,
spot.
okay, let's go. I'll sit there. We're just gonna spread
long as
joy
they have to eat
every
the cake,
single
I'm good.
day. Yeah, we'll switch. You'll
Great.
go play with sprinkles and bake, and I'll come here
Totally
and talk
fine.
about the cake. No, I really want to spread as much joy as I can. I really think that that's something the world needs more of. When people come to my shop, they're always like, "This is like a pocket of sunshine in Soho," and it really is an environment that you create. So I want to, you know, help people do that. There's a lot we do with like Birthday Party Project. It's one of my favorite charities that we do. We throw birthday parties for kids living in transitional homes or experiences homelessness. But in that time, it's just everybody should be able to celebrate their birthday and experience that joy. So spreading joy with anything that we can is my biggest goal for anything. And of course, expanding into other lifestyle products.
Right. Well, since we're here, we have these cakes. I feel like we should
Yeah, should we cut into this?
cut into them.
Yeah.
All right, you go first.
I feel
Okay.
like you're a pro already. You had
Am I
your
a pro?
your summer experience.
The suspense.
Yes.
Killing. Yeah, and the big ones like really do. And when you make these at home, you could also, you know, put whatever you want inside.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
All right.
What are
I feel
the
like you should share it.
So cute.
So I like
No,
to
this
put
is all for
5
me.
different things. Oh yeah, that one's yours. This
Okay,
one's
this
for
is
us.
ours.
Sure.
What's the unicorn's name?
Kara.
Kara.
The unicorn.
All right, I'm gonna go.
She's a cutie.
Oh my God.
I love your
feel
nails
so
with that.
Thank you. I was
So
like,
good.
I want to cut a cake with these nails.
Yeah, I like that yellow. I usually do a rainbow, so
Yeah,
you know.
I feel like we could
God.
totally. Come
Whoa!
on. Oh my God.
I love that little ice cream cone.
This is so
Oh yeah,
pretty.
the ice cream cone is like the
adorable.
cutest
This is
thing.
the epitome of joy and happiness.
Hi, I
Yeah.
want to
It
eat
is. Like you can't
Pass me
not
a fork.
smile. Can we
yeah,
share? Yeah,
yeah.
here. We'll
Well, I
Yeah.
just
You want
couldn't
me to
say it
add
with my
another piece?
fingers.
Yeah, I'm digging
share
in.
for her.
Oh, that's
Wait, are these little
guys want a
candies
piece?
chocolate
Yeah.
or are they?
Yeah, so I like to do a blend of 5 different types of sprinkles and 8 different colors. So we have
Sprinkles.
6lets are the chocolate.
That is
Here,
so
you can have
pretty.
that.
Oh,
One. I'll
thank
take this
you.
one.
You're like, I've had 10 pieces of cake this morning.
I actually
sick
eat
of it?
cake. No, I eat cake almost every day. You know, we have to
dream.
test different
A dream.
things, and this is my favorite part.
This
A
is
dream.
so
Cake for
pretty.
breakfast is the best.
Cake for breakfast is amazing.
Thank you for making our day.
Yeah. oh my
Yeah,
God.
seriously, I just want to start eating this cake and just eat it all day. So Amira, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
bringing
so
the
much for having
birthday
me.
lifestyle to us.
Thank you.
Everyone, make sure to pick up a copy of The Power of Sprinkles wherever books are sold. And thank you to Sama for co-hosting. So great to have you. We'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same table.